Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Varsity Club Lacrosse podcast presented by Focus on the Field. Now, Focus on the Field is an administrative service provider focused on youth sports organizations. They offer a fully outsourced turnkey solution to the administrative burden facing administrators, coaches, and volunteers. They offer multiple services through administration, communication, registration, and technology. The Focus on the Field team has extensive experience in youth services and parent engagement with a deep understanding of the nuance involved in driving a positive experience. This, combined with years of industry knowledge in youth sports, has enabled Focus on the Field to become the modern solution in optimizing youth sports administration. All right, now back to the episode. Hello and welcome back to the Varsity Club Lacrosse podcast, your go-to source for all things club lacrosse. On today's episode, we're going to talk about the newest MCLA news. We have an interview with former Oregon and Florida State lacrosse player Aidan Skokan and current fifth-year player at Oregon Andrew Berg, and we're going to have some bad beats and our predictions for the PLL championship. All right, Sam, how's it going, man?
It's going well, but this audio thing we got going on is nuts for me right now. Brian is like skipping beats and he's coming back, and yeah, we're working with it though. But I'm doing good. Long work week, Brian. This real job thing is kind of crazy.
Yeah, just being employed and unenjoyed. Nah, dude, it's it's tough, but it's nice to finally start planning things out. But being a personal trainer is basically like running your own business. So I got to start getting clients. Training session coming up. So grind, but it's a positive one. I'm looking forward to.
It's all a grind, man. Shout out to everyone out there grinding. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah. And Sam, I was actually sick with COVID last week, and you're sick this week. So what happened? Just too much partying, too much
Listen,
up?
I was out with some friends like at the local bowling alley arcade spot. It's like the one place we've got in Sherwood. And my friend was like, my throat kind of hurts. Like, I haven't been feeling bad. I've been getting a sore throat. And I was like, oh, dude, you're probably fine. Like, I think 2 days later, my throat started hurting. It was not looking good. So like this whole week, I was on training videos, and so my video was off the whole time, and I was like the only person. So they must have thought I was just dicking around, which I'm just kidding. Yeah, sick. I mean, I'm on the come up now. My nose is stuffed up and I got a cough still, but I feel normal, so we're good. It's just a little coincidence that we're both getting sick on these episodes. I hope nothing bad is gonna happen on the next one.
Right. While we're both also onboarding for our jobs. Yeah. Hey, you'll get over the humps. But let's get into our first segment, the news roundup. All right, Sam, what do we got going on?
Let's do it. So we've got a company sponsoring players of the month for each division. They are called Lacrosse Specialties. You can find them at lacrossespecialties.com for all your medals, plaques, and trophies. This is not a sponsored event. I'm just plugging them. And these players of the month, again, are for each division, D1, D2, D3, as that's what they said on the website. And it's for the months of February, March, April, and May. So there's going to be a plaque that they get each month. So that's going to be by Lacrosse Specialties, which I think is a pretty cool deal. I don't know how many times you get a plaque that says your name on it with an award at this stage in your life, club lacrosse. So that's going to be really awesome. And then the bigger thing is the national recognition. They're going to get a post just like the Players of the Weeks do, but I think this one just means a little bit more. You're playing the best lacrosse for that month, not just a week. You're consistently doing it. And I think if you're one of those people who can get 2 of these in a year, looks pretty good on your club lacrosse resume. So I think that's just really cool. Being able to, I mean, that's the whole thing we're trying to do here. And the Varsity Club Lacrosse guys is just getting people's names out there and getting that exposure for them, getting those teams exposure, because opportunities like this for club lacrosse players don't happen too often. So I think this is something that's pretty cool that they're doing. I'm very on board with this.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love a plaque or
I
a
mean, come
medal
on.
or honestly
Yeah.
anything.
I mean, I don't know if I'd want like a little dinky medal, but like plaque. I mean,
Dude, I would take the dinky medal,
the
man.
really, I guess
Yeah.
I probably would too.
I'm
Just
not
be,
used to the hardware.
I'm just being a hater.
Yeah.
Then last one I've got here is we've got a bunch of fall check-ins on the MCLA website. I honestly never even saw these until I went and tried to see what the new news was. So I have not read them, but I will definitely be reading them because again, the exposure thing. I always try and read stuff like this, and I think MCLA does a great job of finding people that will just go out and write some articles for them for free. I mean, I don't know if these people are for free or whatnot, but I think it's just really cool. Again, opportunity for people to get their name out there. And the teams we've got so far, I'm sure they're going to do a few more because we're just getting into fall ball. But we've got Virginia Tech, Montana, Cal, Kansas State, Florida Atlantic, Dayton, and Air Force. So those articles are already out on the MCLA website. You guys should definitely go check those out. I will be. And I think that's about all I've got for news, Brian. Not too much since our last episode. I'm trying here, but kind of
Yeah.
early fall ball, there's not much going on.
Well, hey, the Varsity Club Lacrosse Instagram and Twitter, they repost, Instagram and X. They repost other things that other MCLA schools post. So be on the lookout for the social media pages for Varsity Club Lacrosse.
Yeah, and the MCLA has been trying to post some of the tournament games on Instagram and whatnot. But also the Varsity Club Lacrosse guys do an awesome job of getting people's content out there. And I love to see people getting more involved in social media, especially Twitter. Or, dude, I'm not even, it's Twitter. But they do a great job with all that.
Most people refer to it as Twitter. Yeah, we actually,
Yeah.
someone, I believe the Twitter account, Panchito Ojeda.
Ojeda.
What was great is like they commented under the Varsity Club Lacrosse podcast on Twitter, and they said, "I'm not a huge proponent of paying for streams, but it absolutely benefits the MCLA from a budget perspective." Both of us were like, 100%. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It does benefit the MCLA because they do make money off of it. And that is awesome. And we hope that people do make money. And I'm not sure that a lot of people will pay to watch streams, but it's still awesome that people are willing to and to support the MCLA. And we're grateful that you were able to communicate with us and to share your opinions on the matter. So please comment, DM us, and we'd love to just talk about your opinions and our shitty ones.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. To piggyback off that, I think it would be way better for whatever we're trying to do here is if people are involved. I think it's whatever if it's just me and Brian, but I think if we can get more people involved, just commenting your opinion on a Twitter post or even DMing us, whatever it is, I think that would just get me excited. At least I don't know about you, Brian, but I think just getting some more interaction with some actual people, and maybe we are having some shitty takes, which I'm definitely known for, and I'm all good with you telling me that they're bad. But just tell me that, or Brian, or whatever it is.
Prove us wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, guys, now on to our interview with Andrew Berg and Aidan Skokan.
Here with us, a graduate of the University of Oregon and Florida State University, where he played lacrosse at both and is now an assistant coach at Florida State University and offensive coordinator at Leon High School. Also works for PLL Assists and is currently working at the PLL Championship in Philly, Aidan Skokan, and getting ready to take his victory lap at the University of Oregon, coming off a year being on the IR and ready to take the league by storm. 5th-year senior Andrew Berg. Welcome, fellas.
Yeah, let's go.
Thank you
Thanks
for
for coming
having
on,
us.
guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
You guys look great. Aidan, you got the gear on. Berg, you got the gear on. Aidan, I think we're going to start with you here. Just how's the PLL championship? And can you give us some details on what that's like working that, a championship sporting event?
Dude, it's been awesome. We got a lot of cool stuff going on in Philly right now. I'm getting ready for us to do our pickup in the park event tomorrow. Giving out a bunch of mini sticks, trying to grow the game organically at that level. Championship should be a good one between Archers and Water Dogs on ABC on the Sunday. Really exciting stuff to see. I got a bunch of guys on both teams I'm looking forward to watching, so it should be a good one.
So can you tell us a little bit about I don't even remember what it was even called. What's pickup at the park?
Yeah. So pick up in the park. It's just a little event we're doing with the community of Philadelphia. We're giving out a bunch of mini sticks. Paul Rabel's going to be there. We're going to be just playing some lacrosse with some boys in the park, dude. It's as simple as the title says it will be. We're playing pickup in the park, gonna just have some fun with some boys out in Philly.
So are you going to get James Harden to come out, and is he going to be like Kevin Durant in the last one?
Dude, if he's still going to be in Philly, then maybe he will. If he can get a little boardroom help, we'd love to have James Harden out. But I don't know if he wants to be here or not.
He definitely does not. Yeah, that's for sure.
Now, Berg, are you one of the little kids that they're helping out?
Oh no, I'm not. With Skoke, what you're doing is great, though. It's awesome to see you help grow the game.
Yeah, it's what a humble response, Berg.
Mm-hmm.
Berg, I heard you had a little IR stint last year, so
yes.
Yeah, I heard
unfortunately,
you having a big comeback.
What happened there, Berg? What
unfortunately,
was the injury?
last year, about a week before our first game, actually, it was a routine play. I kind of got hit from behind and went to break my fall. Ended up dislocating my shoulder and ended up tearing my rotator cuff and my labrum. So had a double surgery back in April, and just been rehabbing it, getting ready for season come February.
That's awesome, man. Shoulders injuries suck. I had one back in 2018, and I still have a shoulder impingement from it. Brutal. I'm glad. I feel like you're doing better, and the rehab is going well. But excited for you to kill it this season.
Yeah. I can't wait to get back out on the field with all the boys. It's going to be a good time, and for the last year too. I'm excited for it.
You don't have another one in you?
No. This will be the grand finale.
Not like Aidan. You can't do 86.
6 years is tough, man. Maybe we'll see you out in wherever the championship is this year. Is it? Where is it? Is it Utah this year?
I think it's Round Rock.
No, it's still Round Rock.
Round
Rock again? Yeah, back in Round Rock again. Mm-hmm.
I mean, dude, anything's better than Salt Lake, but
Salt Lake was tough.
Berg, hoping to be there.
Yes, that's the goal of our team. We're all ready and focused, and we're ready to make some noise this year.
Nice. Okay, I'm going to just slide into the next question there. I mean, what was it like last year? What was the team morale and attitude? Losing. Oh, I'm not done. Yeah. Losing all 4 regular season games, each 1-goal loss, and then also the PNCLL championship game by 1 loss, but mainly during that regular season. How was that like? Did you guys overcome adversity? Did really anything change, or did it feel like it was kind of stagnant the whole time?
In the beginning, those first 1-goal losses were tough, and we all kind of came together after and really moraled into working harder. And that was the focus next week of finishing each game, no matter what the score was. We know we had a few teams come back on us. And as the season went on, we tried to make improvements, tried to make adjustments. And unfortunately, some of those didn't work out, and we still fell in those close games. I know it brought us closer together, and it made us hungrier for sure. We hated that taste in our mouth. It was horrible to lose the way we did, especially when we know there's multiple plays, easy plays in the game that if we were just focusing a little bit or focusing on the attention to details a little bit better, we probably would have came out on top. I know this year though we're just as excited and ready, and we got a lot of returners coming back, and like I said earlier, we're ready to make some noise and make a name for ourselves this year.
I love it. Love the fire. Gotta have it at Oregon.
Yeah.
Kidding me? Come on.
Oh yeah.
This is kind of a question for both you guys as well, going off of that. I'm sure, Berg, most of those games, if not all, were not played at Oregon. So my question is, nobody ever wants to come to Eugene to play. Why do you think that is? What's the case there?
I think it's a combination of two things. One, the location is kind of difficult to get to.
Very true.
Eugene is a small airport, and Portland isn't too close to us as well. And then I also think there's not a lot of other colleges that have good competition around us as well. Like I know we got Oregon State, Washington above us, but those are long travel days. And to fly in and then play a game, travel up and play some more, I think it can take a toll on some teams where they could, and it can be a little more expensive as well to travel. Whereas there's more colleges and more MCLA teams around, like in California, Arizona, that are closer, easier to get to. I think it's a combination of those two things.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I just piggyback off of that. Like it is difficult to get to. Like Oregon's a fun place. We know that. But it's expensive. Like MCLA, it's a player funded league. Like you'd have to fly to Portland, and then you'd have to bus down to Eugene, and then you'd have to at least play Oregon State, because it's not worth it to just come play us, and it's not really close enough to be able to just bus to. Like luckily, being at Florida State, we have a lot of competition that we can easily bus to, and it's not that expensive of a trip. But for a lot of other teams, especially on the West Coast, they don't necessarily have that luxury of being able to bus up, because if you're busing from anywhere that isn't the PNCLL school, that's probably like a 7 or 8 hour bus ride at minimum. So it's kind of the nature of the MCLA, and it sucks, but it is what it is, and we kind of had to make do with it while we were there.
Yeah, for sure. I think also a lot of people, if you don't go to school here or live in Eugene, you hate the place. You think it's really shitty, which it also is for sure pretty shitty. But hi, Gore, how you doing? He can't even hear me.
I can't hear. Yeah, I know. I got the earbuds in.
For the listeners who aren't watching, we have a couple of guests coming in.
Yeah, Berg, can you tell us where you're living right now? What your living situation has been like for the last 4 years?
Oh, our living situation. We got some other guys out here. Wyatt, come in here, and Chuck. meet some other former and current Oregon lacrosse players. We're all living in the house this year. Yes, sir.
Oh, that's a great mustache Wyatt has got. That's for
sure.
Yeah.
What up?
Yes, I love it. Berg, can you tell us, who's been living there the past few years, what it's like now, what the name is, why it is that? Because I'm also still kind of trying to figure that out.
Still, all right. So when we first moved in here, we were trying to figure out a name for the place, and we had a giant bush right outside our front porch, and there's a beehive in it. And for months, we didn't do anything about it. You just come home and you dodge all the bees, really. And so we kind of just developed that name of the hive. And at the time, Sam, you were living, and Aidan, both of you guys were living at the original lacrosse house. But we were kind of the undergrad house. We were sophomores at the time. And it was myself, Wyatt, Nicholas, Sean last year. And then our former president last year, Sean, had also lived with us, and also Tex. His name's Ryan Thomas, but he's from Texas, so he goes by Tex.
What else would he go by? Come on.
Yeah, it fits him perfect. And so we all lived here for the last 3 years, and then Wyatt and I are staying for a 5th year while the others graduated. And we had Chuck, who is a midfielder on our team. Dylan Kane is a close defender, and Eli Silverman is a defensive midfielder. So still all got lacrosse boys in the same house, and still got rid of the beehive, but we're still the hive.
Solid. Yeah.
I just want to say I love you guys are keeping that tradition alive. Like it's something that me and Sam and all our guys kind of started at our house. It was kind of a bummer that we couldn't keep our specific house alive, but It means a
Yeah.
lot to me, and I'm sure it does to Sam that you guys are keeping that tradition alive of having a lax house.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we still got your letters from a few years back with the pink A that Theta Chi decided to print on for you
Theta
guys.
Guy. Brian, we had a rivalry with a frat house across the street. It was like their actual frat house, Theta Chi. Called them Theta Guy. But yeah, we have made major beef with them.
They took our A that was up plastered on top of our house, and they decided to paint it pink and put some flowers on it. Made it look pretty. I wasn't mad about it. I wasn't mad about it at all. It made it look much better than we did. So.
Yeah, they actually tried on that thing. It was crazy.
Yeah, they put a lot of effort into it.
That was wild. That was wild. It was a great day when we saw it back up there.
It's awesome that, I guess, multiple universities, they always have a kind of lacrosse house that they kind of becomes a staple of the university. For Purdue, we had Steakhouse. So, do I know why? No.
Yeah.
Maybe one day we can explore that later. But I'm curious about you guys. Some stories about Sam. Do you guys have any stories about him and his time at Oregon that we can discuss? Oh, Berg already has a crazy reaction, so he has to have
ones
some.
we can discuss.
Ones that we can discuss. No, I'll say this. At least twice a week, Sam was good for having the shortest shorts I think you could ever wear at a lacrosse practice with no socks or ankle socks sometimes, I guess. You had ankle socks? All right.
Of course.
Ankle socks.
Might be with socks, to be honest.
And Sam is not very tall, but man, he's got some long legs. And
you think?
They're white.
They are white for sure. But you think I got long legs?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It was at times, I think, especially in some scrimmages, you would pull up in those, and I think it made some of the opponents you were guarding uncomfortable at times. They didn't want to get into your body at all, you know.
I had the women's medium running shorts on. You know, nobody wanted any piece of that.
So,
but yeah, Aidan's the real legs, guys. That's his nickname, Legs. He hated that.
I did get the nickname of Legs by Keaton Hayataka,
the smallest guy on the team.
But I had the distinct pleasure of living with Sam for 2 years, and honestly, this is a memory that came not while we were living in the Lax House, but I think it was our freshman year, Sam. I can't speak on what we were doing before this happened.
Sure.
But at one of our houses, we decided to have a mullet shaving event. And I think Sam had the absolute worst mullet I've ever seen at this point in time. Give me a second, and
you didn't. No,
I definitely have a picture of it.
Yeah, that was.
It was. I think it was shaved. I don't have Snapchat on my phone anymore. It was on Snapchat Memories. But it was shaved by Barrett Poe, another one of our former teammates, and it was.
I thought it was shaved by Brandon.
It may have been by Brandon.
I think
it may have been.
Both.
I might be wrong.
But
it was someone that did a really bad job.
Yeah.
But it was probably a 2 all around from here to the top, and then the rest was just left in the back. One of my favorite pictures of all time, and one of my favorite memories while on the team at Oregon, for sure.
Dude, that was such a horrible haircut. I also got another horrible mullet where they tried to shave the Oregon O into the side of my head, but it was literally just one circle. So that was cool. But yeah, that mullet was like really bad. And then that was for like nationals our freshman year. And we went to nationals and I was hurt. I had hurt my hamstring and whatnot. But before the game, I had a hat on and everything. And all the seniors were like, take your hat off. So I had to walk around and I just like mean mugged Michigan State. And then we got like beat by 7. Yeah, that was tough.
Can I speak on that Michigan State loss with
Sure.
Keaton?
Oh yeah, that was just mean.
This is also funny. So our gracious alumni bought us these shirts that said "Big Bodies Only," which was a phrase that they used to use. Can't speak to
Don't
Oregon
even need to say it. Just don't
I
even
don't
need to
know
say
the
that.
origins of it. I don't know the origins of it, but they
All
bought
right,
big
all right,
bodies.
all right.
They bought the whole team
We don't
big
need
bodies
to.
only shirts, which we were super appreciative of. And we decided to post on Instagram a picture of definitely the smallest kid on our team wearing them, and just got absolutely flamed in the comments for that. And then we lost to Michigan State by like 7. They did go on to win the national championship that year, so
Yeah.
no love lost there. But that was a wild choice by our Instagram running.
My favorite comment was shrimp dick. That was comedy. Yeah. Man, I appreciate that. We did have some good moments back in the day. I am always going to hold on to the fact that, like, I would, if someone was like, you can go to school for free, like, you can go play another year Oregon, I'm like, done. Just started my job 2 weeks ago. I'm quitting right now. Man, I absolutely love club lacrosse and Oregon. So, yeah, it definitely was a good time. And then kind of going off that, I want to hear, I have my favorite moment. But I kind of want to hear what your guys' is, and I want to see if it's all the same, because I feel like we got to be there's just one up there that I feel like is better than the rest. So I'd love to hear you guys' favorite moments from playing.
I can't wait for you guys to answer, and it's not the one
I
that he's
know.
thinking of.
I don't know, Sam. I think I have an idea. For me, it was probably the San Diego State game our freshman year. Honestly, it was just after. I think it was about a week after Coach Jackson. We got the sad news that he had passed away, and we had what was it? The LA shootout and against San Diego State, and a lot of teams were reaching out to us saying like, "Hey, if you need time off to figure some things out, take your time." And I think it took about 1 minute for our whole team to come into agreement and say like, "No, we're playing." Like Coach Jackson, every day we reach out to practice, say it's a beautiful day for lacrosse, and goddamn, every day is a beautiful day for lacrosse. And that San Diego State game, we played with a lot of emotion. And I remember going up our first quarter, we kind of scored, we kind of got rolling on offense, and the energy was there. And I just thought he was with us, with all of us that game. And it was also former San Diego State was where he coached before previously. So he had some ties there as well. It was really just a great night.
I'll add on to that. It was really special for me. Sam, you knew Sam Snyder pretty well as well. He lives in San Diego. He came and helped coach us that game, and that was also very special to me. Just to have that outreach of support from our alumni guys that had played under Charlie as well, guys that I knew had our back. That was a really special moment. In terms of my favorite moment though at Oregon, it's really hard. I know yours is probably. I'm trying to guess what yours would be.
Dude, I feel like there's just one. It was good.
I mean, winning the PNCLO our freshman year.
I'm not even talking about playing lacrosse.
I think it's the bus, bro. The karaoke.
No, dude.
Oh, what?
We had the most.
See, I knew
it
this
was
gonna
awesome.
happen.
Dude, Brian, you called it. I really thought it was gonna happen, but all right.
No,
fellas.
I really don't know. Can you tell me what you're thinking of?
I'm talking about. We are playing. God, I don't even remember. We were in some California place. Our bus wasn't going to show up for like an hour or two. Yeah. And so we had to Uber to our game. Every single person had to Uber. So we got there was 12 minivans or whatever in the parking lot. But prior to that, while the Ubers were coming, we're like, this hotel doesn't have any breakfast. Like, what are we going to do? We can't not eat. So we start looking and we're like, oh shit, there's a Popeyes not too far.
Preface, this was around the craze of the Popeyes chicken sandwich when everyone was going insane.
And so we're who's gonna go get this Popeyes? I mean, what are we gonna do? We don't have any way to get there. So I don't know if this kid volunteered or if he was forced.
No, he
But Carter Mosher, God bless his soul. He was president after I was president, and he is one of the greatest guys you will ever meet. But he is just a crack, dude. He is so funny. And so he definitely went to go get the Popeyes, and he ran all the way there, and it was definitely like over half of a mile, close to a mile probably. And he had to cross the highway, but he's there and he's getting these Popeyes chicken sandwiches, and we tell him he's got to get 100. So he tells these Popeyes workers to start making 100 chicken sandwiches. We then tell him we don't need that much. We probably need like 50. So then he's got to tell these Popeyes workers we only need 50. So he's on the phone with me, and he's like, Sam, these Popeyes workers hate me. He's like, I don't know.
We're not in the nice part of Los Angeles at this point.
Yeah, no, it's pretty it's pretty tough.
No.
And so this little white ginger kid is just up there by himself getting 50 Popeyes chicken sandwiches. And he gets some fries and whatnot. Some people ordered special like meals or whatever. So he comes back with 50 Popeyes sandwiches running with 2 hands across the highway, comes back, and everyone, it's like a pack of wolves on one little deer. It was all of those chicken sandwiches were taken, and he's sitting there, everyone's eating their food, and he goes, where's mine? Everybody had eaten all the sandwiches and the fries. They were in the process, and he didn't get a single damn one. And he never got paid for any of that.
Get paid for it.
God, dude, I will never, ever forget that moment.
Dude.
Yeah.
Neither would he.
Oh, he won't. He hasn't.
No.
He hasn't forgiven.
He gives us shit for it almost every time I see it.
What happened to forgive and forget, dude? I just don't understand. Jeez. That was a bit long-winded, but man, I just had to say it.
No, that was too good.
I asked Berg about Oregon and whatnot, so I want to ask you about going from Oregon on the West Coast to then going to Florida State on the East Coast. And I'm sure it was, but was it a culture shock? And what was that like? And then playing for Oregon and Florida State, what were kind of the differences?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's different for sure. It was really cool for me to see. I was on the we called it different, like even us calling like the exec board different things at different places. Like at Florida State, it's the exec board. At Oregon, it was I don't even remember what we called it.
Officers, come on, man.
Officers. Yeah, it's different. Everything's just different, bro. Like in the South, things are a little different. Guys are honestly a little bit bigger. It's a little bit more of like a fraternity revolved around culture. But like that, it's part of the MCLA, and it's cool to see the differences at different programs. And like, I'm glad I was able to see different parts of different programs. We have probably, so for reference, this year we just had our first 2 weeks of fall ball. We had about 105 kids come out to Florida State. We're taking 65 kids for our fall roster, so we just had to make some cuts this past week. But it's even like the caliber of teams you play is different. Like I genuinely believe like the SELC is one of the hardest conferences in all of MCLA lacrosse for sure. We play against teams like Florida, Georgia, Georgia Tech every year, and it's different because we're able to bust to all these teams within like a 4 or 5 hour radius, and everything is very close knit, close together. A lot of guys have played with each other over in high school and then into college, so some of those games are a little more heated. And I would say like guys get their frat guys out. Like some of those sidelines, they're pretty intense. That UF FSU game, that's a real intense game. And it means a lot to a lot of people. So it's different, but it's been really cool to see the differences in the two programs for sure.
Which one was better?
Better in terms of what?
Whatever you want to say.
I mean, he's wearing FSU gear right now. So
that's what I'm saying.
I'm a coach. Dude. I'm currently a coach at Florida State.
Which was a better experience for you?
Man, if I could have took my team
high school,
from Oregon,
just say high school.
If I could have took my team from Oregon and implanted them in Tallahassee, I think that would have been my favorite experience possible. Not to take away from any of the guys I played with at Florida State. I love the guys I played with at Florida State. Some of them are my best friends to this day. But I had a lot of fun at Oregon and at Florida State. I wish we could have got those junior and senior years back, Sam. I would give my life away to be able to play those 2 full seasons, but you know, I can't pick a favorite. It's like picking between your kids. You can't.
Sure,
But
sure. We were cold junior senior year.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm sure everyone's gonna say that in the MCLA and wherever that they lost their season, but we were cold. Yeah. I kind of want to, on a sadder note, Berg, you kind of touched on it earlier, and you were a freshman when Charlie died. Aidan, you were a junior. Kind of explain that process of what our team kind of went through and what we talked about, especially, you know, going through that first week and deciding you want to go play a weekend after hearing that tragic news like 4 days before or whatever it was. And just kind of how that whole season was, or the rest of it, I guess, because of COVID.
I'll start if you don't mind, Berg. So it was our junior year, Sam. I remember I was sitting on the couch at our house, and Will Pine, great teammate, great roommate, comes in. He goes, Charlie died. I didn't even think, like, I think I was the first person he told. I didn't even think of our head coach at the time. We had seen him the night before. Like, it was insane for me to think of that. I was thinking some guy that used to play on our team. Like, that wasn't even like the first thing that came to my mind. And like, that was just insane to even just process that. And then the fact that we like continued to practice and play a game after that, like everything was for Charlie. And like at this point in my career, like everything that I do in my lacrosse career is like, I always have him in the back of my mind because he was such a positive light in that experience. And my experience at Oregon and my experience playing lacrosse, that like he's always going to be there, and like he's always going to be a part of Oregon lacrosse. Like I have this penny with me right now that has that CJ sticker on it. I always have CJ on my helmet. Like it's always going to be for Charlie, and I'm never going to forget about the times that we had with him. And like that Berg touched on a little bit earlier, but that first game against San Diego State, that was by far the most emotional game I've ever been a part of. Like we had guys like crying on the sidelines, like I was crying on the sidelines. Like we won that shit, and like that just meant the world to our program. Like, that there's nothing that words are very difficult to explain, like that entire like experience, just because it was so meaningful and so touching. Like it was something that has impacted me like to everything I do to this day.
Yeah, ditto that part for sure. Berg,
yeah, and for me, that was a pretty wild experience as well, especially coming back after fall ball. I really thought our team had made a lot of progress during fall ball, and Coach Jackson was a guy that everyone gave 100% every day for him. Like he was an excellent motivator without having to really, get after you that much. He kind of wanted to prove to him that you were good and to put you on the field. And I remember that last practice. I remember Wyatt and I were one of the last few ones there. And I remember him just kind of scattering around, looking around. He didn't look all right. And he kind of made a few comments that Wyatt and I looked at each other like, what is going on with him? Like, but at the time, you never put anything past Charlie. Like he was a wild guy.
Exactly.
And then the next day I remember I was taking a nap, and my roommate, Sean Padadar at the time, he just came in and woke me up, and he's like, dude, like Coach Jackson's gone. And I remember just like I didn't know if he was messing with me, but like he looked in his eyes. I was like, oh damn, like he's for real right now.
Yeah.
I remember just thinking like, what next for our team? Like he was such a vocal point for everyone. Everyone was able to go and talk to him. He had a great relationship with all the guys on our team. And it really impacted us. And then going back to what I said earlier and what you said, Skoke, that first week, everyone at practice and in games and stuff, like everything was for him that year. And then to see it end in the middle of the season, like it was a wild couple months for all the guys. And I'm proud of the way, we came back and kept coming to practice every day for him. It's the way he would have wanted it for us. And I'm glad we pushed through for him.
Yeah, I don't really have much to add on to that. I think you guys got all those points. But the thing I do want to say is it's just so like beautiful, like lacrosse sports in general, whatever. But lacrosse community, I think, is super,
Yeah.
super well knit, together. And the beautiful thing about Coach Charlie passing, it was a horrible experience for everybody involved and still probably is. But beautiful thing is that like you guys are still talking about how great he was, Aidan, how you want to almost mold yourself to be like that. Like that's how definitely how I coach now, like with my high schoolers. I'm definitely not there to that point, but I'm trying to. Like that's who I try to be like. And I just think, people are making impacts like that all over the place. And it is so sweet. So shout out to all those coaches who are truly meaningful to your players. You guys really mean a lot to everybody out there. And you guys do a lot of work, especially in the MCLA. So shout out to you guys for sure.
Yeah, it was cool to see. It was cool to see all the other teams from the MCLA kind of reach out to us as well, or post something to their social media, and it kind of goes back to who Charlie was. You couldn't catch the guy in a bad mood, especially on the lacrosse field, and it was cool to see other people, other programs recognize him in that way as well.
Yeah, well,
I'll
definitely.
add on to that a little bit. It's really hard to find, Sam, we've experienced this. It's really hard to find someone that genuinely wants to like make an impact and build something in Eugene, Oregon specifically.
Yeah.
And Charlie was someone that wanted to do that. He was making community outreach things. He did the alumni banquet that there was some stuff, whatever. I don't want to get into what I did there, but the alumni banquet was an awesome thing that Charlie started. And he was always trying to do stuff within the community in Eugene. And it really felt like we were starting to build something there and something that he could have done long term and built long term there. And that, not to leave it on a sour note, but I would have loved to see what he would have built in Eugene if he would have been able to stay for a longer time.
No doubt, dude. He would have killed it for sure. But also going off of that, I think they're gonna do the alumni banquet again. And that's one of those things. Well, I mean, Berg, you might know more than me, but that's at least what Dave has said something about that. But that's what I hope every MCLA team has across the country. Like I really think that those alumni banquets, like that was our first year having a house all together and whatnot. We had some guy who was like friends with one of the players back in the day, came to the banquet with his like, I don't want to say something crazy, but she was some sort of exotic worker of some sorts, and she was playing ping pong with the freshmen, and it was just like the weirdest situation I've ever been in. But it's like that's club lacrosse, baby. That's what we're talking about.
It's like the epitome of club.
Yeah. So I really hope that I'm really hoping that situation doesn't happen to everybody, but things like that can happen that bring a team a lot closer, especially having your alumni in proximity feels a lot different.
Yeah, it seems that Oregon, you guys have such a close brotherhood throughout multiple generations. So always like the chance to expand on why Oregon is such a fun club lacrosse school and why people should go there.
I guess I'll start there. I think that it started with probably a class below. I think mine and Sam's class really kind of emphasized this, but it was definitely started by the guys below us. Like club lacrosse can be something bigger than club lacrosse. It doesn't have to just be those 2 hours a day you spend together. Like you should spend time with those guys on the weekend. Those should be your best friends, like for the rest of your life. Like, I mean, me and Sam got the opportunity to live with like 5 of our other best friends, and like those are guys that I'm gonna consider my best friends until the day I die. Like club lacrosse, it's bigger than just those 2 hours you spend together. And we that's something that we really emphasized and we really like tried to hammer home. Like you can be in a frat, you can do all that stuff. Like that's fine. That's part of the college experience. And there's plenty of guys that do it. But like for most of the guys that like really put their all into club lacrosse, they got the most out of it. And like that was my favorite part of the experience, was like building those lifelong friendships. Like you grind with those guys on the field so you can have fun together on the weekends. Like that's what we did. Like that was Oregon lacrosse.
Yeah, and I believe like you were talking about your class, Sam and Skoke. I think you guys were the blueprint. You guys were juniors and were really accepting of a much larger freshman class than I think you guys had in the previous years, that where some kids were getting some playing time, but you guys were all for it and very accepting. I think another big thing was like all the traditions that had taken place at Oregon. They trickled down to you guys, and you guys emphasized them. Like these are pillars in Oregon lacrosse. And like I had an old coach in high school that actually played club here, and we still have his old cleat nailed into a chain, and it's the hard worker chain, and each kid gets it every week. And God, that guy graduated I think in 2017, and we still have that going. And but not just on the field, like outside of the field. Like Sam and I, my freshman year, we started every Tuesday. Our schedules lined up. We'd be hitting Panda every Tuesday. And Panda Tuesday. And soon enough, where we get around, we'd be sending Panda Tuesday in the group chat. We get like 2 or 3 tables, 8 to 10 guys, and just take over Panda. And I think, just spending time with each other outside of, like Skoke said, outside of the 2 hours of practice you have, really goes a long way with chemistry and really wanting to work for each other and do well for each other and put everything on the line for each other. I think those aspects are why Oregon lacrosse are why the guys are so close, and why we have such a brotherhood here.
Yeah, I think our freshman year, Aiden, we kind of got shafted in that department. And not to knock any of those guys, they were all great, but I think a lot of it was cliquey. And so I especially didn't want that feeling for anyone else. And so once we got that house, it was like the door's always open, anyone who wants to come over. And
literally, because the lock didn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was open door policy for sure. Just making sure people felt comfortable, which is, the whole thing. A lot of people come into freshman year not knowing what's going to happen. A lot of people come into club lacrosse with a different idea than when they come out, which is definitely what I had. I thought it was going to be a cakewalk. Let me tell you, I thought I was going to walk in there, start all my games, kill it. But yeah, it's just a different story.
Might have if you didn't sleep through your alarm.
Oh
yeah, I did start my first couple of games freshman year, and then I slept through game warm-ups because I love naps. Berg loves naps.
Yeah.
And my phone broke, and so I put my alarm on, but it didn't go off because my phone was fucking broke. So showed up to the game during warm-ups. There's like 15 minutes left. I show up with my shorts on backwards. I was like sprinting and crying at the same time. My parents were there, like, "Where are you?" Dude, it was horrible. Go up to the coach. I'm like, "So should I put my stuff on?" He's like, "Yeah." Didn't play me. Didn't see the field until like 3/4 way through the season. Yeah, it was tough. But that's that freshman growing pains.
Yeah.
Have those shitty experiences. I'm definitely not going to sleep in again. That's for sure.
Yeah. I remember our freshman year when we were going to Cal, Tex completely missed the bus, and but he was
hopped in
no, he was a stud. No, he was a stud and hopped on his truck and drove the whole 8 hours down to Berkeley. And I think he actually beat us.
I think he did.
Because we were having dinner at Reed's house. And yeah, he actually beat us there. I'm not surprised though. Tex is a menace on the highway.
Yeah, he's a speedy fella. That is too good. Yeah. Ryan, you got any other questions, or should we hit the final one?
Yeah, let's just hit them with the final one. What advice do you have for high school lacrosse players thinking about playing in college?
Like MCLA or Division I, or just in general?
Let's just say MCLA.
MCLA.
I mean, from my experience personally, I was originally committed to go to a D3 school in Pittsburgh called Chatham University. Um,
Yuck.
and yeah, well, no bad vibes towards Chatham.
No,
but
but come on.
making the decision.
Yuck.
So I changed to go to Oregon July going into my freshman year. So
Wow.
that's like 2 months before we start school. Oregon starts later than most schools, but making that decision was the best decision I've ever made in my entire life. And then going on to Florida State to continue playing MCLA lacrosse was the second best decision I've ever made. So I would say to anyone thinking about playing in college is think about what you really want to do. If you really want to go to a D3 school or D2 or D1, whatever, then think about what that really means, that you're dedicating your life to that stuff and that is going to be your life for the next 3 years or 4 years or however long you end up. It could be 6 years like me, who knows? 5 years like Sam, 5 years like Berg. But like, think about what you really want to do, and if you want to go play MCLA and you have the capability of being able to pay for school and pay to play lacrosse, because that's the reality of it. At that point in time, you have to pay to go to school and you have to pay to play. If that's something you want to continue to do and still get the real college experience and go to football games, be a part of something bigger than just the sport of lacrosse, then strongly consider MCLA. It was the best decision I've ever made by far. I've made my most lifelong friends playing at Oregon and at Florida State. Like, I got this shit fucking tattooed on me, bro. That's the only logo we were allowed to use at Oregon.
Club
That's the
lacrosse.
logo we were allowed
The
to
Club
use
Lax
at
logo.
Oregon. So I got that on me, and I got the spear on me too. Come on now. Sam was with me when I got that tattoo too.
Yeah.
But that's a story for another time.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, just think about what you really want. If you really want to go to one of those smaller schools and dedicate maybe 12 hours a week in the fall and your whole life in the spring, then that's fine. But if you want to enjoy things outside of that and build a bond that's bigger than lacrosse and have fun outside of lacrosse with your lacrosse boys, then I'd say strongly consider MCLA.
Yeah, I would say kind of Sam would you brought it up earlier. You initially came into your freshman year thinking, oh, it's gonna be a cakewalk, oh, I'm gonna be starting all 4 years and so on. But a lot of the kids that come in and do decide to play MCLA and try out for the club team, a lot of them were the best players on their high school team. And so I think for me coming in, I realized fairly quickly I have to work hard in order to prove myself and prove that I'm able to be on the field. But don't get discouraged ever. I know sometimes if you're a freshman, like if you're one of the best players in high school and you're not seeing the field as much just because other players are bigger, better, faster, don't ever get discouraged. Your time is coming, and to enjoy every second you can, because like I technically my 4 years like were up last year. I made a quick decision kind of to do my 5th year, and I couldn't believe last year thinking like, damn, this is it. Like I couldn't go out like that, and I know Sam can attest to this, and Skoke, man, you guys doing 5 years or 6 years as well, to enjoy all of it, because it goes by quick. And I know Paul, shout out Paul Wickline, Jack's dad would always say at the end of every away game, he would stand by the bus and yell, win or loss, he would yell at us, remember this is the best moments of your life. You're going to remember this bus ride home. Like he was always a pick me up. And that's kind of how the community is. We're all here to have fun and enjoy college. Like as Scott mentioned, the extra activities, football games, frats, and but also lacrosse is also fun. And to enjoy it with your brothers there's no better feeling going out onto a field in a close game and pulling out a win, or going and just dominating a team with all your boys. with all the time and effort that you put into it, it's a lot of fun.
One thing I will say about Oregon too is that we had the best traveling fans ever. Our parents would come to every single away game.
Yes.
It didn't matter where it was; they were there. I remember we were in Reno, Nevada, like with our families, like half of our team's parents there. Like they were the ones on the tables, like shooting dice.
Yeah.
Like, and I wasn't even 21 at the time. Like I just had to sit back and watch. But like that stuff, I'll remember forever. Like the community and the family around our teams at Oregon specifically was something I've yet to experience anywhere else, and stuff I'll cherish forever.
Yeah, I think my dad bought Rhodey a shot for his birthday at Reno on the table. Yeah. Well, fellas, I really appreciate you being on. Brian, I appreciate you sitting here letting us chat basically the whole time.
No, I love it. It's awesome. Everyone's getting a in detail experience about how everything is like for the bonds that you make for playing in the MCLA. It's really awesome to see you guys just make the connections and shoot the shit.
Yes, sir. I'll see you guys in Eugene for the alumni weekend, November 10th.
Yes, sir.
I can feel an alumni dub. I can feel it.
Yeah, no, not even, dude.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see, huh?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for being on here. It was an absolute pleasure. I love this one. This is awesome.
Appreciate you guys having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us. It's a great time.
All right, guys, that was our interview with Andrew Berg and Aidan Skokan. Very entertaining. Glad we got some insight on Sam at Oregon. But now we're going to have a segment and talk about bad beats. And if you guys are watching on YouTube or on Spotify, now you can notice that my audio is completely different than my video. And I had a different bad beats talking about a haircut that I miscommunicated with my girlfriend's friend. But honestly, the bad beat is that my audio for this entire podcast has been shit. And I have had to ADR, basically voiceover, the majority of the interviews, intro and outro. So that has been very fun to edit, and I guess this can be a little nugget for the people who are watching or continuing to listen for the outro of the podcast. But that's on me. Sorry to Sam. My audio was just very distorted and very hard to listen to. So this is the easiest solution is for me to talk about my new bad beat, which is me having terrible audio issues this past week for the podcast.
Yeah, but people who haven't gotten that done to them don't know what it's like, especially growing your hair out. I've always grown my hair out, I feel like, probably like 6 or 7 different times. And I think almost all of those haircuts have been pretty bad. And it's just such a horrible feeling. Like you don't want that. And especially girlfriend's friends, not like say much. And even if you wanted to. Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, you can just go public on a podcast instead.
That's all right. She's not gonna hear it. And if she does, you already said she does a great job, which I'm sure she does.
She does.
Yeah.
She's phenomenal at doing hair. I just miscommunicated and should have told her specifically what I wanted. But yeah, it's tough because it was the first time I grew out my hair, and I was pretty proud of it for how long it was. So it was tough. So make sure you talk to your hairdressers or barbers. And same thing happened with my roommate, except for his beard. It was lined up a little bit lopsided. So it happens.
Looks completely different, huh?
Yeah, looks completely different.
Yeah.
Shout out Peter Block.
I don't have nothing nearly as good as that. Mine's just being sick this week. I kind of touched on, but it's not fun being sick. Nobody enjoys it, but it is what it is. It didn't really hinder me much because I just work from home, so didn't really leave the house too much. So We got a Friday night here at about 8:30. We're about to go get some drinks, and yeah, we're hanging on. I don't even know if I'm gonna get drinks. Honestly, I might go to bed.
Wow.
It's crazy
Sam,
out here.
You're turning into an adult.
I feel good. I feel good the past 2 days. My nose is stuffed up. I got a cough, and it's just, I don't know. It feels weird going out. I don't want to get other people sick. That'd be the last thing I want.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
fair.
I might still do it though. Come on.
Maybe that's the bad beat of the week.
Oh, yeah, I really hope it isn't.
All right, guys, this is my voiceover again. Basically, this is where we predicted the PLL championship, where the Water Dogs would beat the Archers 13-11. But that audio is completely messed up, hence the voiceover. We joked about how we would love to have a ring since we predicted it correctly, but as you guys know, that did not happen, and the Archers won by 1 in heartbreaking fashion. So here's Sam's response to me and my prediction and wanting some hardware.
We'll take them. Really hope that doesn't just backfire, huh? Jeez. Go Dogs, baby. Go Dogs. Through and through.
It did indeed backfire. Well, that's all for this episode of the Varsity Club Lacrosse Podcast. If you guys want us to answer any of your questions, you can email us at varsityclublacrossepodcast@gmail.com, and we'll answer them later. Make sure to tune in next time for more exciting content about the world of club lacrosse. You can follow us on Instagram at Sam_Criscola and at Brian Plunkett Lopez. Thank you for listening. And again, I'm very sorry about all the audio issues.
Peace.